Hello everyone, this is Al-Hafiz and welcome back to my channel. In today's lesson, we are going to talk about some tips for IELTS reading test and how to improve your reading. So let's get started. First of all, what is the IELTS test? IELTS stands for International English Language Testing System. It is the world's biggest English language test with test centers in most countries. This means it is a test which accepts international English, not only British English. There are 4 parts to the IELTS test. IELTS listening, and this is a 30-minute audio recording with 40 questions. All IELTS candidates take the same test. IELTS reading, and this is our topic today, is a 3 reading passage with 40 questions which lasts for 1 hour. This test is divided into academic and general training papers. IELTS writing, and this one is divided into task 1 and task 2. Task 1 in academic writing is a short report of a chart, graph, map, table, etc. But task 1 in general training paper is a letter. Task 2 in both academic and general training is a formal essay. IELTS writing lasts for 1 hour in total. IELTS speaking is a face-to-face informal test with an examiner which lasts between 11 and 14 minutes and is made up of 3 parts. All IELTS candidates take the same test. IELTS reading. The reading test is the second part of the IELTS test and lasts for 60 minutes. This includes the time needed to transfer your answers to the answer sheet. There are 3 sections, 3 reading passages in the reading test, taken from books, magazines, journals, or newspapers. The passages cover academic topics from scientific to historical interests. There are 13 questions in each of the first 2 reading passages, and there are 14 questions in the last one. There are titles and sometimes captions, photos, and illustrations in the text, which can help you to comprehend the subject of the text. If the text has technical terms, a simple glossary is provided. The total word length of all the texts can vary between 2,000 and 7,500 words. At least one passage contains argument and/or views. This is usually section 3. How do candidates receive their IELTS score? Candidates receive their scores on band scale from 1 to 9 for each skill that has been tested. For example, they have listening, reading, writing, and speaking. The scores of the skills are equally important. The average and round of the 4 scores of these skills are reported in an overall band score. The candidate receives the scores in whole bands or half bands according to the 9-band score. Academic reading. The reading test has 40 questions in the paper. Each question carries 1 mark. The table below shows the number of marks required to achieve a particular band score by candidates at different levels. So this table shows band score and raw score out of 40. For example, if you get 5 band score, that's say you answered 15 questions out of the 40. And if you get 6 band score, means you answered 23 questions out of the 40. And if you get 7, means you answered from 30 to 32 questions out of the 40 questions in the test. And if you get 7.5 band score, means you answered 33 or 34 out of the 40 questions. And if you get 8 band score, means you answered from 35 to 36 questions out of the 40 questions in the reading test. Advice on the reading test. What you should do on the IELTS reading test. Do the following. You may write your answer on the question paper and transfer them to the answer sheet before the end of the test if you like, but you will not be given extra time to do this. So during the 60 minutes, you are supposed to answer and transfer answers onto the answer sheet because there is no extra time will be given. Write your answer on the answer sheet. You must write your answer in pencil, no pen. Understand the questions and follow the instructions carefully. Skim the questions before reading the passage in order to have a purpose for reading. So skim the passage means your eyes go quickly through the passage, through the text, to look for titles, subtitles, captions, illustrations, graphs, and so on. Start the reading test from the beginning and work through it. If you cannot answer a particular question, leave it and move into the next. You can return to that question later if you have time. Put a mark next to this question on the question paper in order to find it again fast. Watch the time and don't spend too much time on one question or passage. Remember, you have only 60 minutes to answer the questions and to transfer your answers onto the answer sheet. Look carefully at the title of the passage and any subtitles and illustrations in the passage in order to have an idea of what the passage is about. Read through the passage fast in order to be familiar with the topic. Look at the definition of some words if any is provided to help you understand unfamiliar words. Copy words accurately from the text. You must take the same word or words from the passage and use them in the answers without changing the form of the word or words. Any spelling mistakes mean that you lose the mark for that question. Use the singular and the plural form of the word or words carefully. Make sure your answer is correct when you write your answers in words. That's to say, short answer questions, sentence completion, summary completion. So your answer should be completely correct. Pay attention to the word limit. Focus on completion type questions. For example, if you are asked to complete the following note with only one word, so you have to write only one word. For example, scientific researchers created a vaccine for COVID-19 in dash. And the correct answer is only one word, which is Oxford. So just write the word Oxford, because if you write in Oxford, this will be 2 words and the answer will be wrong and you will lose 1 mark. Attempt all the questions. There are no penalties for incorrect answers, so you have nothing to lose. Use reading strategies such as skimming and scanning to help you find the answers. Check your spelling, check your answers, and here, what you shouldn't do on the IELTS reading test. You shouldn't or don't forget to write your answers on your answer sheet. You will not be given any extra time to do this at the end of the test. Don't write more than one answer when only one answer is required. Don't read every word, and remember that You are reading for a purpose. Don't be panicked or perplexed. If you don't know anything about the subject of the passage, you can find all the answers in the passage, so don't be worried at all or confused. Don't be anxious. If there are questions you cannot answer, leave them and move on to the next question. You can always come back to the ones you couldn't answer at the end of the test if you have time to do this. So just remember that. Don't go back to the start of the passage for each question, and remember that the answers will come in the order of the information in the text. Don't waste time reading the whole passage each time for each set of questions. Remember that you need to skim the passage text quickly for many task types that ask you to locate or check details in the passage. How long should you spend on each passage? We said that you have 3 passages and there are 60 minutes. So you have 60 minutes to read the 3 passages and answer 40 questions. So you should spend about 20 minutes on each passage. Will you lose marks for spelling and grammar mistakes in your answers? Yes, you will lose marks for spelling and grammar mistakes because all the words will be given in the text that you need in order to answer the questions. So remember to transfer your answers to the answer sheet carefully and correctly. Will you lose marks if you write an answer with more than the word limit? Of course, yes. When the instructions of the task type say that you should answer in, for example, no more than 3 words, and you write an answer with more than 3 words, yes, of course, you will lose the mark. Yes, answers which are over the word limit will be marked as incorrect. Now, the second part of this topic today, how can you improve reading? Tips for improving your reading. Read a lot in order to improve your reading. Reading is good practice, so read about interesting topics in English and enjoy reading. Read lots of IELTS passages and try to finish as many tests as you can in the Cambridge books. Understanding and using are different, so keep a notebook and write down any useful words and phrases that you find while reading and use them in sentences. While using the IELTS Cambridge tests, you can look at the correct answers of each question first and then try to see why these answers are correct through analyzing the passage properly and locating the keywords. Whenever you look for information on the internet, search in English first, because English is a global language. Here are some links in order to improve your reading. And now, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe to my channel. Stay safe and have a nice day.